Hey everybody, this is Real Spiel Podcast. I'm your host, Roman. This is my co-host here, Rahim.
What's up, y'all?
We got a little bit of a different video for you all today. We're going to be trying a new concept out that we came up with. Go ahead and explain this concept for us.
So what we wanted to do, we call it 90 minutes in 90 seconds. It's where we pick a game that we've watched or we read about or we watched the highlights from the last, 5-7 days, something like that. And typically it'll be a game that's not super big teams or maybe a game that you haven't watched or that everyone watches, just to bring in something interesting. And whether you're going to talk about the tactics of the game or maybe a specific player within the game or just a specific moment, it's just a quick thing to, first of all, start off the podcast, but also just to bring in some interesting topics that maybe not everybody talks about. So it was just something we want to try out. We think we're going to keep doing it, but let us know your opinion and any way we can tweak it to make it better for y'all. So
Let us know. Let us know what you think for sure. Feedback is always nice.
But so Roman's going to start us off with our inaugural 90 minutes in 90 seconds. I got the stopwatch here. You're
okay.
up, Roman.
Today I'm going to be talking about the game from Barcelona against Real Betis. Barcelona's my team. Good game. Good game from us. Started off somewhat slow. Got us a goal about 15 minutes in. Christensen off of an assist from Rafinha. Great performance from Rafinha as well. Got a goal and an assist. We did get a red card. Couple, they got a red card. They were down against, they had 10 men. Gosh. And we, that kind of changes the game when it's a team like us. We were just kind of pounced on them at that point. Lewandowski got his goal. Another one on the sheet. Pedri and Dembele back from injury. Very important for us. They changed the way we play. Pedri's ability to, those passes that cut between the lines is
He's different.
He advances the ball forward and you can see it immediately. Certain quick passes that people don't realize they're changing the way we get to operate when we possess the ball. Dembele was back. Very good news for us. One of our best attackers. It's nice to see him be back on the field. Not really much to, we're just trying to make sure we stay at the top. There's not really a whole lot we're really playing for at the moment other than that. Not in Copa del Rey at the moment.
Not Champions League.
No Champions League, no Europa League. Whatever. But, yeah, great performance. 4-0. Rafinha 2. Christensen 1. Lewandowski 1. Or not Rafinha 1. Not Rafinha 2 GA. But, yeah.
That's perfect. Bang. And that's 90 minutes and 90
That'll
seconds.
Be a little glimpse of it. That'll be. I need a little work on mine, obviously, but
we'll get comfortable.
I'll get a little more comfortable with it. Yeah.
The guy loves his Barca, so
it's my team.
Come on,
my team. Got to see us win. Let's get yours in now.
Right,
you ready?
Let's roll. I gotta go quick.
Got to go quick. Got to get them in.
All right, here we go.
You ready?
Yeah.
Go.
All right, I wanted to talk about a little smaller of a game, but still some good teams. Also in La Liga, Villarreal 4, Espanyol 2. And really, I don't want to talk too much about the game. It was pretty interesting. 6 goals in it. Espanyol up at halftime 1-0. And then Villarreal, big 4 goals in the second half. But I want to talk about 2 players that used to play in the Premier League. I think a lot of people mostly watch the Prem. And when players leave and go to other leagues, they kind of write them off as just bums or insignificant. But these 2 guys have flourished after not doing so well in the Prem. So, first of all, Etienne Capoue, defensive midfielder, France, dyed blonde hair. I love his game. I do love his game. I've liked it for a while. But 2 goals in this game, curler from outside the box, a bit of a banger. He won man of the match, deservedly so.
Definitely.
Played at Spurs, brought in with that Gareth Bale money, never worked out. Goes to Watford, some actual good finishes. He was a shining player in a bad Watford side. Comes to Villarreal, Champions League semifinal, consistent starter for a club that we all know. The Yellow Submarine is pretty relevant. Last one is Joselu. A goal in this game. Newcastle, Stoke, never panned out. 10 goals, 70 games in the Prem, a nobody. Comes to Alaves, relegation side. He has 11 goals, 14 goals, and this is after the age of 30. This season, he's also got 14 goals with still 8 games left. Third in the Pichichi race. I'm just saying, don't write these guys off. Go watch other leagues, ESPN+. These guys can play. Joselu Capoue, shout out to y'all. So, yeah, that's 90 minutes and 90 seconds.
Good. That was perfect.
Bang.
That was perfect. So, yeah,
start.
that'll be a glimpse of what you'll see at the – not even a glimpse. That's going to be what you see at the start of each of our podcasts. We'll get a little bit more comfortable with it, trying to cut out the little bit of details we're going to say and when we do that and whatnot. Yours was just spot on. Capoue, brilliant player. I liked that for sure. Bet. I think people are going to enjoy it. Let us know what you all think.
Let us know. It's about y'all and what y'all like, but we like that. So
what we're also going to go in today is
excited.
we're going to talk a little bit about ourselves. We're going to talk about,
selfish.
Basically how we got to this point in our ways and, what we enjoy about the game.
Yeah.
I'm going to have you start us off.
All right. Bet.
We'll kind of flip-flop with the same subject matter and the speaking of ourselves, but you'll start us off. Let us go.
First, I'll talk about my top club. I think anybody who knows me or follows me on social media got the kit on. It's all about Southampton for me. A weird club to support, especially as an American, but I think even if you're from England, it's a smaller club. Probably, well, we are going down this year, it looks like. But I grew up a big Louisville fan. Both my parents went to U of L, go Cards. So red and white was like always that favorite player, like I hated blue or anything else. So red and white for me is what I wanted. 2013 summer, I had already been watching football a lot at that point. I played my whole life since I was like 4 years old. So I wanted to pick a team red and white. I didn't want to be a bandwagon. Not United. They won the league that year. Arsenal was fourth. Liverpool down years, but still, it's Liverpool. But I didn't want to be that bandwagon guy, support some big team. So that left me with Stoke, Sunderland, and Southampton. And I dodged two massive bullets because I would have had my whole fandom in the championship or even lower. So lucky enough, we've been in the Prem 11 years now. Obviously not dominant, but in those years, especially under Koeman for us, 6th, 7th, 8th place finishes. You're talking about Mane, Van Dijk. Now we have Ward-Prowse. I'm a huge fan. I watch 95, 99% of games for the last 4 or 5 years especially. So it's tough. It's different. We were talking about, supporting a big team versus supporting a small team. It's like those little things mean more to you than maybe winning a title. So it's not all about that for us because that's not really super realistic. Would love to see us lift a cup, but hurts relegation, of course, but it'll be okay. I think the championship will be fun for our young players, so I'm excited. But yeah, I love the Saints, no doubt, and you'll hear me talk about them a lot. So I'm biased for sure, but
I love to hear
it's
that.
Cool. But what about you?
Nothing wrong with being biased.
Hear it.
I'm a big Barcelona fan, as most of you all probably have seen and know if you know me. Starts off, I was just a buddy of mine in my old neighborhood when I was young. He put me on to Ronaldinho in Brazil, actually. And between watching them, this was either 2008, 2009, 2010 time frame, I'm not quite sure. He put me on to them. My parents had no correlation with soccer, so I was, in foreign territory, very much so. And mesmerized immediately. Ronaldinho,
Easily.
and then being able to do crazy things with him on the video game, and seeing that player and seeing him do those crazy things on TV.
He is a video
clips
game.
of highlights and stuff. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And then he showed me that he taught me the difference in club and international. I thought it was just he played for Brazil. I didn't realize he played for Barcelona. I was 9, 10, 11 years old, somewhere in there, and had no way to know really.
And if in the U.S., I know that might be laughable to some, but in the U.S., that's just not a thing. Watching games all the time and hearing about it from family.
This is like a Korean family, so they were already in tune with football. They were big Korean fans of their team, and stuff like that. So a lot of people might not even realize it's rare for me to even be that young and have the opportunity to be
at that time. Yeah, now the visibility's changed
for sure.
Back then,
this is 2009, 2008, somewhere in there, 2010 maybe. That sounds late, honestly. I really think 2008, 2009 time frame. And I wouldn't change a thing about it. I'm glad I got the ability to learn the sport and watch people who love the sport at a young age when I didn't have that. Didn't have that at school, didn't have that at home. Had that down the street. You know what I mean?
That makes you
got
smile.
very, very lucky. Very, been playing FIFA, FIFA 10, begged for it. I needed it. You know what I mean? FIFA 9, I was mesmerized, going to my buddy's house to play it every day. FIFA 10 changed my life, honestly, because then I started.
Changed my life, bro.
It did.
FIFA 10
I hate that. FIFA 10 changed my life. It changed. It taught me who, FIFA 9 taught me who Wayne Rooney was and certain players like that,
People always knock on learning stuff from FIFA. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say, this guy's rated 86, so he's really good.
That doesn't mean anything.
But as far as, picking up a player and you're like, who's this? You go watch him in real life. That's for the love of the game. We're talking about kids playing FIFA.
Yeah.
No, I mess with that for sure.
And then that Ronaldinho turned into, finding out who Messi was once I found out who Barcelona was, and then it was... You can chalk it. It was over from there. The GOAT, fell in love with the GOAT after falling in love with his, the player who makes
the guy who inspires everybody.
Yeah, you know, it was the perfect 1-2 for me to. I was never going to be another fan of any other team. What's next? What else do we want to talk about ourselves?
I mean, he just said I'm never going to be a fan of another team. Now I have to be the opposite. I'm not saying I support multiple teams, but it is different for me because, you know, Southampton, like when I watch Champions League games, I'm always a neutral. You know what I'm saying? Even like I know some years United or Spurs or whoever aren't in the Champions League, but they're still not a neutral because they compete with those teams. You know?
Yeah.
And when Barca gets knocked out, but you're still watching Madrid v City, you know, you still have a dog in that fight even though you're not in the Champions League right now. For me, it's not like that. So I go off and on picking big dogs. I mean, I love all the big clubs just because of the history and the heritage of it all. I like Atleti a lot, especially in recent years because of Simeone and stuff. But for me, and I'm starting to get into it more and more, and it's a bandwagon. I'll put my hands up. It is a bit of a bandwagon, but it comes from something real, is Bayern. I started watching them a whole lot more. I watched them this season. I've seen 85% of their games, I'd say. And I've always liked them, and that's because of my dad. My dad came from Nicaragua to Honduras. Why did I say it like that? And then to the U.S. when he was like 12. And the only thing he knew back then were those like 70s era Bayern Germany teams. And so growing up, like I was telling you this the other day, is like I had never heard of Cristiano, really hardly Pele. The only player I had heard before the Germans was Maradona. But Beckenbauer and Muller, this is Gerd Muller, not Thomas Muller, were like the first players I had heard of because those were my dad's favorite players growing up. And I thought those guys were like the pinnacle of the sport, like the giants. And they are footballing giants, no doubt about it. But I thought like those were the Pele, Maradona, like that level of player. So I haven't always supported Bayern. Like I'm never going to sit here and claim that. But for me, especially over the past like few years, is watching them and texting my dad about it. And he started watching them again more because obviously you get busy when you get older and stuff like that. But it's been nice to connect and say, like, man, that was a good game today or whatever. Like, we were texting about the Dortmund game a few weeks ago. So, bandwagon Definitely. Or not, you can call me whatever. You can criticize me. But for me, it's cool. That's what I'm saying.
You got a reason.
So, I mess with it a lot. But is there any team, like, you don't have to be a diehard fan because we know you support Barca, but is there somebody or a group of people that you kind of pick up with?
There's, you know, what's funny is that, like, I'm not even, like, the biggest Bayern fan, but that's my go-to on FIFA usually.
Because they're cold. They're cold.
But I've always kind of, like, coincidentally, I followed Alexis Sanchez when he left Barcelona, and it led to me being fond of him at Arsenal as well. You know, he was kind of his team in a way, like his attack.
He was the guy.
He was the guy. You know, he was the one that got to stop the ball and do what he wanted. You know what I mean? And I liked him even more. Basically, he left Barcelona, and I continued to for sure. And it's always kind of like couple years in a row, like, and then hearing about Thierry Henry and getting to see clips of him at Arsenal, and then people say he's the best Arsenal or best Premier League forward.
He's
you know what I mean?
Premier League player. I'd say.
You know, I've always kind of been.
And Barca and Arsenal. I mean, I'm not saying they're partners.
They've had good business,
but they've had
good
back
business,
and forth,
and then they've had good matchups as well.
Easily.
I've always been fond. Not fond. I don't know a good word to say. But
you're not. He's not an Arsenal fan.
I've always been, interested to see Arsenal succeed one day is how I put it. You know, I'm not really necessarily caring when because it wouldn't matter to me. Especially after Alexis Sanchez left, that dropped a lot. And then I didn't like the way they treated Ozil either.
Nah, that was awful.
I didn't like that at all.
I don't think anybody did.
I think, no one did.
He's a legend of the game.
Legend of the club, like
legend of the club
of his era of where he was when he was there.
We've ever seen in the Prem, all that. Yeah,
took them.
That could be a whole episode.
Won them games. Yeah, he won them games single-handedly.
But I'm feeling you, and I think I always say, like, as I know we're from the U.S., but not every U.S. fan has an MLS team. Really, almost every U.S. fan has some sort of Prem team because that's the media that we see the most is the Prem. We're like a pseudo Prem market kind of thing. Yeah,
and even if they don't have a team they've heard of. They have a player that they know Wayne Rooney, or they know that Ronaldo was at Man United somehow, or they know
probably
something.
Like a jersey that they own. So I understand. Arsenal is kind of like you said, you're not like a fan. You're not dying for them to win, but if you had to pick, gun to your head, you'd probably go with them.
And what's funny is that at the same time of me being at the peak of my like that, what I'm really saying is, like, when I liked Arsenal, I liked City even more. I was a David Silva, Yaya Toure, you know,
Because
follow Yaya
city
Toure as well. You
sides
know, like
have that little Barca. They play the same. I mean, Pep obviously.
you know,
I feel that.
there was a lot of players like just that I always Aguero. I loved the
Baller.
you know 29, 28-year-old Aguero was I loved watching him
Cold.
play. Even like 27-year-old Aguero, like that young, like getting into his prime, like he was to me,
Easily.
And I was really the one I'm talking about. It's the younger, like 26, is that time frame.
You talk about formative moments in your footballing fandom. The full 90 that I can remember, like, and not analyzing, but like really understanding the tactics, because you watch when you're younger, but you don't understand, is that City QPR game. Aguero.
Yeah.
And I cannot watch that. Like, I think I just gave myself chills right now just saying that
I
out
get
loud.
chills
I
for sure.
can't watch that video because not only is that moment crazy for everybody, I mean, that's one of the most famous footballing, maybe the most iconic footballing moment in club football.
Definitely Premier League.
Yeah, no doubt. Is for me, I can't, like, but on a personal level, Aguero represents something big in my fandom of, like, boom, like that was a real big hit.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that was the beginning at all, but it was just a moment that's like, this is why I love this. Yeah, for sure. So.
City had a game long back. This is before, I want to say Pep's at Bayern.
Yeah?
Like, Yaya Toure's at City and Pep's not yet.
Word.
Basically.
Yeah.
This is that time, like David Silva prime type player.
Cold.
And they're down 1-0 on the away. Couldn't tell you for the life of me who was against. I couldn't tell you who scored, other than who scored the third goal of the game. They were down 1-0 at half, and they won the game 2-1.
Yeah.
And Yaya had a goal from outside the box, and I was just like, I'd never seen it live. I'd never seen a goal from outside. I saw a David Luiz goal outside the box live.
Yeah.
But I think this was after that.
Yeah.
I think the David Luiz goal is after what I'm talking about. And I was never seen a goal from that far away in live time. Like, it was coincidentally on Sunday TV. Like,
Yeah. I know
just we had it on, coincidentally had it on. I was like,
those
ooh.
moments stick with you, but
They stick with you. And I like City ever since that moment. Up until, like,
more recently,
the last couple years.
Yeah. They got too good. Better than Barca.
They've been better than Barca the last 5-6
easily.
years. But
easily, yeah.
Easily.
But tell me, it's very obvious. David Silva, Arsenal have had, Fabregas, Santi
Yeah.
Cazorla, and
You can
Barca
see
as well.
the trend here.
Tell us about internationally.
I love a Spanish midfielder more than anything.
Love.
It's my favorite. Like, Pedri is my favorite player right now. Gavi's probably in my top 5 favorite players.
Yeah,
My
easily.
favorite midfielders ever, are Spanish.
You can guess, yeah.
One of my favorite players to watch, like, that I think is underrated in hit, like, the eye test. Like, if you really, people don't talk about this. Like, he had the fluidity, what I mean, with the ball that people don't talk about because his assists kind of outweigh it. But Fabregas, like you're saying, like baller,
absurd, actually, like
top 5 in assist ever.
People respect him, no doubt. Everyone knows he's a baller, but like even at a young age at Arsenal, I wish I could find it. The thing is, he's not a statistics player, but his stats are crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, crazy. He's better on the eye than he is on the stat sheet, but still crazy on the stat sheet. I want to echo that. A Spanish midfielder, hard to beat. If I had to pick one nation, one position, I think you got to go Spanish midfielder for me.
If you wanted to.
You're going to be hearing a lot of Spanish midfielder hype. If you don't like it, you can mute this part.
I was a midfielder growing up. We'll get into that in a little bit, but it's just the natural. I like the midfield matchups of a game. A good game, I'm going to watch the midfielders the most. I'm going to catch my eye. I get to decipher a game the best from there. You know what I mean? Like, I get to understand why a team's doing well based on if that team's midfield is doing well.
Facts. They define a game. But
they do.
Yeah.
Spain, I've just loved them. Knowing like that the team that I supported's midfield was the starting midfield.
Barca, Spain are like this. Twins.
And even now.
Same.
And really, it's the same thing. It's the 3
same.
starting midfielders.
Barca is Spain. Spain is Barca for me.
So,
but
naturally, but it's like I support USA. I want to see us win. I watch pretty much all of our games. I know all of our good players. I know all of our, I know our 12 best players really, but like I don't care about who made the roster.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Like
Gotcha.
I would definitely look at it and know if it's something notable.
Yeah.
I know enough about our roster to know if something notable happened on the selection,
Right.
but I'm waiting for selection day for Spain. I want to know who's making that. You know what I mean? It's just a little bit different of a level for me.
For me, I can't say that. I mean, I've been accused by many of not really being a USA fan, but that's a lie. I definitely am. I watch all our games. I mean, I care about the squad. I want this guy picked and that guy picked. I'm a USA fan first. I am a big France fan. I wore that France jersey that I love. That's the women's jersey in our first episode. But when I was younger, played FIFA, I don't know, I just picked France. Franck Ribéry is one of my original favorite players.
Baller.
I don't know why, but absurdly good baller.
He's top 10 in assists too.
But France, for me, I don't know. I love a French player. I mean, I know I was saying that thing about Spanish midfielders, stylistically speaking, and maybe as an inspiration for me as a player. But France, you'll hear and you'll find out, pick up. Maybe I'm a little biased towards French players, especially
a French
at big
winger.
clubs. A French winger is hard to beat. I mean, we're talking about Kingsley Coman, baller, but we could get into that. But I just want to say that. And then, of course, I support Palestine. That's where my family's from. I support Nicaragua as well, but Palestine and Nicaragua are the same, that their games are never on TV and they don't play anybody good. Honduras has been good for sure in certain years, but a down era. But I support the countries that my dad and my family come from. So, but the U.S. is first for me still, definitely. But
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about your actual, maybe what you like to see tactically. If you could build your ideal tactical setup, vaguely, don't go into depth. Don't put a profile in every position.
It's in the team talk,
Basically like, do you like a possession based with, running into space? Do you like a possession based with direct attacking? Do you like a sit back team, Jose Mourinho, go out and get it type of,
not. I appreciate Jose, but that's not for me. I mean, I would not be able to manage like Pep because Pep is the greatest. But as far as management, like tactics go, for me, Pep, like that sort of line, I want the ball. I want my midfielder specifically. I mean, like you were saying, I played 6-8, a little bit of 10 my whole career, but mostly 6 and 8. That's what it's about for me. Those midfielders, I'm not saying they need to be, they are the focal point of every attack. And that's why you were saying the same thing. A lot of times I catch myself judging a team based on that. And that's not always the case. Not everybody plays the same. Not everybody wins the same. Sometimes I need to tone back my possession elitist kind of style.
Like you got to do this,
yeah,
this,
that's
and
what I'm
this
saying,
to be.
that's a lie. Especially in modern football, you don't have to do that.
Man City, you look at the Man City Real final. Like those two teams who can do that, who weren't doing that,
that's
and still scoring goals and having
Madrid
an open
last
game.
season were fantastic, but they weren't dominating possession. A lot of the Chelsea sides that are super successful didn't do that. I mean, you referred to Mourinho. He's known for sitting back. He's known for winning.
The Chelsea team that won the Champions League final didn't even have more possession that game.
No, definitely not. And counters. Liverpool, as good as they've been over the last season, they're a high pressing, high intensity, and I do appreciate that German style. I think Bayern,
Gegen press.
But I don't know how to say that word, so I didn't want to say it.
I shouldn't have even said it, but
yeah.
I think it's Gegen press or something like that.
Whatever that is, the whole Klopp, Nagelsmann, Rangnick, that style, Gegen press. I didn't want to say it. I'm glad you did.
Gegen press. I don't know.
It's him. It's his fault. But that whole style. I mean, it's not possession based. It's not.
Yeah.
It's certainly a modern but I like it. You know what I'm saying? And it's entertaining.
It's dare you to possession. Dare you to play possession type of game.
Facts. As a neutral, I might prefer that. But as a manager, I think possession is important for me because, unfortunately, I'm limited as a player. I think I'm okay. I'm not special. But I'm a passer. I'm a possessor. I'm not this big physical or fast run up and down kind of guy. So I think I would manage the way that would suit me best.
Well, that's why I think Xavi and Pep, not to go into other club teams again.
Yeah.
They do a little bit of they've got that press. We're gonna but as soon as we get it back, we're not just gonna immediately try to shoot it and score like Liverpool does.
Right.
They
I agree.
press and give it back, press and reset. You know what I mean? They've got that same. They do. Yeah. Every attacker is gonna run and try to get the ball, but we're not gonna.
And they played like that. You know what I'm saying?
I think if Liverpool had more of a balance.
Maybe
things
it would
could
help.
be different.
But I mean, how are we?
But then they got players like Thiago. That's what Thiago, players like that were for, to find that balance.
And it shows. I mean, Liverpool won the Prem, the Champions League. They made 3 finals. They competed in every Prem. They won, obviously, multiple domestic cups. There's multiple ways to win. Even though I'm biased, and it seems like we're kind of the same.
Yeah, I played 6, 8, and 10 in the same.
But there's other ways to win. So we'll try to tone it down on the possession.
Not be biased against teams who play a certain way for sure, even though it's really easy to be.
Facts. But to wrap it up, basically Southampton first and foremost, Bayern because of my dad, definitely the U.S., France, and just a technical game. I love a technical possession-based team. So yeah.
Pretty much, Barcelona for sure. I love seeing USA succeed when they play anyone other than Spain. I'm not gonna You know, that would be a weird one for me.
Madrid.
I'd be happy if they, I'd be happy, not Madrid. I'd be happy if USA beat Spain, but at the same time, it's like I want Spain to win the trophy that year. You know what I mean? All right. Just because of the chances of USA doing so isn't very high.
It's coming.
Typically,
it's coming.
It's coming
Trust
though.
that.
Trust. But yeah,
loved it.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, I guess the same thing. I like a technical. I like a player like you know, I love Phil Foden, Pedri, those players who could dribble in tight spaces and find that 30-yard pass. I love it.
For sure. But
that's it for today. That'll be a little explanation on us and how we see the game and what we like. Hope you all like it. Let us know about how you feel about the 90 minutes and 90 seconds.
Yeah, please.
If you hate it, let us know. You will see more of it. We'll try to keep it quick. You know, we're going to try to, be as much as we can in under 90 seconds.
Yeah. But, facts. Games end early.
That's it, everybody. Real Spiel Podcast.
Thanks, y'all.